Hello and good day, Mike Adcock here with your worldwide tropical outlook for the 5th of August 2013. Do have three areas that we're looking at today. Tropical depression just west of the Philippines, labeled as 94W by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Kiko is its name by Pagasa. And then two systems in the eastern Pacific, Tropical Depression Gil, and then just to its east, Tropical Storm Henriette. For Tropical Depression Kiko, at 9 Zulu, the Japanese Meteorological Agency placed it 310 kilometers northwest of Puerto Princesa in the Philippines, 30 knots, gusting to 45. It is moving to the west-northwest at 9 knots, pressure 1,004 hectopascal. Do have a lot more on Kiko in a separate video. Feel free to take a look at that. But the JMA forecast continues it off to the northwest, intensifying it into a tropical storm in the next 24 hours. If you notice it though, moving across the South China Sea, again towards Hainan province and northern Vietnam, this area has been battered by heavy rainfall over the past few weeks, and it looks like it's going to get yet another tropical cyclone impact. Again, in terms of intensity, not anticipating much. Still has about 2 days for development, so we'll see how quickly it does get its act together. Pretty light shear out there, so it does have room to grow. Not getting a whole lot of information from the intensity guidance, and that's to be expected with a forming cyclone. But tropical storm strength. It could go up to severe tropical storm, kind of like Chevy did recently, but by and large, the biggest threat is going to be heavy rainfall, again, for southeast China, northern Vietnam. Over in the eastern Pacific, do have Tropical Depression Gil at 9 Zulu. The National Hurricane Center was placing at 1,960 kilometers east-southeast of Hilo, Hawaii. Winds 25 knots, gusting to 35. And it is moving to the west at 6 knots, pressure 1,007 hectopascal. And you can see here on MSI imagery, not a whole lot left to it. Some limited convection. It's starting to pulse a little bit, but pretty much a remnant low at this point. And it's moving into more stable air, so it's pretty much done for. You can see off to the east some of the clouds associated with Tropical Storm Henriette. That is influencing an increasing southeasterly shear to Gil. National Hurricane Center forecast does have it weakening within the next 12 hours, becoming a post-tropical remnant low as it continues to track off to the southwest and then eventually to the west and dissipate out by day 5. Model guidance pretty much continues it in that fashion, just being influenced by the low-level easterlies. And it is being influenced as well by Tropical Storm Henriette to its east. But yeah, it's pretty much done for. The one thing that I do find interesting is the intensity guidance does start to strengthen it again by days 3 and 4. We'll see if that actually pans out. The official forecast kills it off. But there is some indications that it may re-intensify later on down the road. That will bear watching. Tropical Storm Henriette, though, just to its east at 9 Zulu, 2,250 kilometers west-southwest of Baja California. Winds are currently 45 knots, gusting to 55. It is moving off to the west at 6 knots, pressure down to 1,002 hectopascal. The official National Hurricane Center forecast with it continues moving it up to the northwest, intensifying it at a climatological rate over the next couple of days. By day 2, expecting it to peak out at about 80 knots and then weaken back down afterwards. But it does look like it's going to be our next candidate to become a hurricane. Again, official forecast continues it off to the west-northwest, and that's really associated with a weakness in the subtropical ridge. After the next couple of days, 2 to 3 days, that weakness kind of pulls off to the northeast, and then we turn back toward the west as the ridge builds back in. In terms of intensity, some near-term strengthening, anticipating it becoming a hurricane. A lot of the model guidance does indicate that. the environmental conditions are favorable. About 28-degree surface temperatures out in the water, plenty of moisture, light shear. So near-term intensification at that point. Then you should see some slight weakening, but really should be slow over the next 5 days. This pretty much rounds up our outlook for today. Not a whole lot going on other than those 3 developed cyclones. And really the only near threat is going to be our depression in the Western Pacific. You can get more of this as well as Western Pacific analysis over at westernpacificweather.com, or follow along on Twitter and Facebook. You can join in the global tropical discussion at storm2k.org. Make sure you follow me at Twitter at Senior Pepper to get updates in between videos. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Take care.